thank you both for reading out exactly what I write there. So there is something very exciting that both have left out in the introduction. There's something that I was really excited about because recently, because of Toastmasters International, I was hired by a Fortune 500 companies to give an 8-hour talk, all because of Toastmasters. Yeah, I get to talk from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday in my day job. So, what am I that, like most of you here, I was working in a day job. And there's one day I was working, there's one period of my life where I was working in a public accounting firm from 9 to 9. And I was working under 8 different managers. So you can imagine 8 of them trying to grab a piece of me. And suddenly, a partner of the firm by the name of Suan Choo, who looks a little bit like the Malaysian version of a beauty pageant. But she is 50 over years old. So she pinged me and says, Kian, can you come over to my office? So I walk over to her office and she says, she looked at me and says, Kian, close the door. I close the door. And she says, Kian, I want you to give your first icebreaker speech in next week Toastmasters meeting. Of course, I look at Suan Choo like how you look at me right now. Next week? I need 3 weeks to prepare for it. Where's the preparation time? But you know, when a partner of the firm and you are the most junior staff there, and when the partner asks you to do something, you can have only one answer, which is? Yes. Yes, ma'am. So I said, yes, ma'am, I will do it. So the next week comes, and I was thrown in to give my first speech, and I planned to prepare in advance. As you know, for most of you here who is my good friend of mine who knows that I don't prepare my speech in advance. I always prepare it at the very last minute. So same as it goes that day, I was preparing at the very last minute, and I'll come up and present my first icebreaker speech. I was holding a piece of paper in front of me, in front of a room exactly like this, with about 20 members, and some of them are high executive, and some of them are even my junior. And they were looking at me, given and anticipating that this guy would give a great speech. And if you were to be in that room the very same day, you would have looked at this guy and says, this guy have no hope. I was holding a piece of paper and I was shivering. I was stay silent for almost a minute and a half in a 5 to 7 minute speech. And I suddenly felt a cool, salty drip of water came out from me. Yeah, it was me sweating. And it was not just a normal sweat, it was profusely I was sweating. Even after I came out from the speech, one of my friends actually came up to me and said, Kian, what happened? Is the air condition not? I know it was funny, but it was really humiliating for me at that time. I was already have a very demanding job, and yet my partner asked me to give a speech next week. So I didn't understand. I was really humiliated in front of some of my juniors. And you know that we have no second chance for a first impression. And if you don't impress them the first time, you don't get the chance. So that's exactly what I felt, and I was feeling so sad that I went to see my partner again. And my partner says, Kian, you know, the 8 different managers have all their demands on you, but you have to decide for yourself what it meant to you. Have you heard of the famous philosopher Jim Rohn once says, if you do not have a plan for your life, someone else will. And guess how much they have planned for you? Not much. If one thing I got from her is I have to plan my own life, and I didn't understand why I have to endure the humiliation at the time. But she insisted and asked me to present the next speech, and the second speech, third speech, fourth speech, and fifth speech. And there are many times where I postponed on her, and I have delayed my Toastmasters journey for a long time. But about 4 months ago, when I'm already in the US, I'm no longer in Malaysia. 4 months ago, my boss pinged me and says, "Kian, please come over." I went into the room with a different boss. Her name is Judy this time. And Judy is a very strict, high-powered executive with strong charisma. And she says, "Kian, I need a favor from you. Your boss will not be here tomorrow, and we have a presentation that we need to give in a 3-day boot camp presentation, and we need someone from our team to present." The same scenario was put to me twice in my life. I look at her this time, and I say, "I will do my best." I went back that night, prepared in one night. The next morning, I came out and presented. I do not know what I am thrown upon, because this time it was presenting in an auditorium with a lapel mic with a huge audience. And being someone who is as junior, and I was not really have enough time. I have only one night to prepare, and I presented the speech. And fortunately, finger crossed, this time I did not sweat because the air conditioning was really strong. But what I'm trying to bring the point across is this time I actually did pretty well. 2 months later, I was actually got promoted. I would say solely because of that particular presentation. And I got a pretty good review after I come off the stage, and people come back to me and congratulate me. What is more interesting? It's 2 months after I presented that speech. I was in the elevator, I was in the shuttle, I'll go to the gym, I go to the lunch, and I met people who come to me and say, "Kian, you are the guy who presented that day, right?" And they congratulated me. I felt, wow, what I couldn't do to impress someone years ago, and today I was able to do that in a short period of time with one night of preparation. I'm not trying to say to impress you, but to impress upon you, if someone like me who really do not have, who has English as their second language, could present and could improve, and you too could also find a reason to be here tonight. And this is exactly what I think is a story that Steve Jobs shared in his 2005 commencement speech in Stanford, where he shared his story. One of his 3 stories he shared was connecting the dot. And if you look back in our life, there are many times in our life that people just come by in our life, and some people are meant to come by in our life and make us stronger. And some people are meant to come by for a period of 2 to 3 years, or maybe a couple of months. And if you look back in your life, I'm back, and I promise you, you will see that there are people who are here to be here for only a specific amount of time and to make you stronger. And Suan Choo had did that for me. And it's because of her that I joined Toastmasters, and because of her, I was able to get this promotion. So my point to you is, I hope that sometime that I giving a speech in front of here, I hope that I would also one day become a Suan Choo for someone else, and you too could become a Suan Choo for other people. And if all of you live here in this room and you forget every single thing I say, remember this one thing, that if you do not plan your life, no one else will plan for you. And guess how much they have planned for you? Not much. Thank you.